getting completely manhandled by your rookie teammate, more spins than there are letters in the alphabet, and some very questionable antics off track. Nikita Mazepin was one of a kind. And I am really glad that's the case, because this man was not only a ray of sunshine to be around, but he also gave us the greatest, worst rookie season in Formula 1 history. But you must be thinking, hey, Mr. DailyFuelUp, if he was so bad, how did he even make it to Formula 1? Oh boy, do I have a story for you. The European F3 high-tech team raised eyebrows when they seemingly anointed Nikita Mazepin as the next big thing after just a few tests. Unsurprisingly, his father Dmitry Mazepin came through with a hefty sponsorship deal that secured his son's spot on the team for the 2016 season, only for the man to finish dead last in the championship. But hey, they say the second season is where you shine. Nikita did show some improvement with 3 podiums in Belgium and Austria, but by the end of the season, he still only managed a lackluster 10th place. Despite his lackluster performance, everyone loves a comeback story, and Nikita would stage one in the GP3 series. He finished second overall and secured the top step of the podium 4 times that season. However, his foray into F2 in 2019 was nothing short of disastrous, with an 18th place finish in the championship, while his teammate Nick de Vries claimed the championship trophy. Desperate for redemption, Nikita joined High-Tech for another shot at F2 glory. After some ups and downs, he finally had his breakthrough moment in Hungary, securing his first podium in F2. Silverstone saw him go even further, clinching his first win. However, Spa brought chaos with penalties, conflicts, and more podium finishes. In the end, Nikita finished the season in 5th place, an improvement but hardly enough to win over legions of fans. Nevertheless, in 2021, he inexplicably found himself in a Haas seat, with financial backing from Ural Kali and Dmitry Mazepin playing a pivotal role in securing his place on the grid. Now, all that Mazepin had to do after signing that contract with Haas was to make it to the first race day without doing something stupid. No points for guessing what he did. The man sexually assaulted an Instagram influencer and almost lost his seat before he'd even sat in it. Eventually though, he would make it to the Bahrain Grand Prix, his first big shot at making an impression. And guess what? He crashed. His first race lasted all of 30 seconds when he turned his car into a metal pancake on the 3rd corner. And so Mazepin was born. Unfortunately for Haas. You will definitely have seen Gunther Steiner, the Haas team principal, on Netflix's Drive to Survive, and you'll know he doesn't exactly mince his words. The show's 4th season in particular showcased Steiner in all his glory, capturing moments like Mazepin's spin at his debut F1 race, with Steiner's frank comment,
"That's what people hate you."
But hey, at least we were loving it. Moving on to the Portuguese Grand Prix, where he decided to play the ultimate game of block the Red Bull with Sergio Perez. Perez wasn't impressed, to say the least.
Oh, this idiot.
And then in Azerbaijan, he finally managed a lead lap finish, a career best 14th. It was like the universe threw him a bone. Of course, it couldn't all be sunshine and rainbows. His teammate Mick Schumacher tried to overtake him, and Mazepin pulled a stunt that, well, see for yourself.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
What the was that, honestly? Seriously? Wow.
For a good few months, Mazepin was racking up experiences at the back of the pack, scarcely breaking into the top 15. His shining moment? He was swimming along in 14th place at the Hungaroring, but even in that race, he couldn't resist a happy misadventure into the Aramco wilderness. At this point, the man was breaking barriers in all the wrong senses of the word. His plight certainly wasn't helped by Haas's sorry excuse for a car either. Then came the Belgian Grand Prix, where rain poured like cats and dogs. Only one official lap happened under the safety car, but in that blink and you miss it moment, Mazepin somehow managed to snag the fastest lap. The man, the myth, the legend, the fastest in the world, Nikita Mazepin, Prince of Speed. He had finally announced his... yeah, things went terribly the very next round. In Holland, things got real spicy, and not the good kind. A tiff between Mazepin and Schumacher turned into a heated argument. Why? Oh, because Schumacher dared to pass him in qualifying. Mazepin, clearly not a fan of being overtaken, vented, claiming he despised people who were cheeky in the battle for the 19th spot. This fiasco even got Schumacher's family in on the action, publicly shaking their heads at the Russian driver. What was wrong with him? Was he fit to be an F1 driver? Where in the video could I ask you to subscribe? It was all terribly difficult to understand. Then came Monza, a race where Mazepin seemed to think he was auditioning for a bumper car derby. Attempting a daring maneuver down the inside of Roggia, he sent Schumacher spinning, all in the quest for the hallowed 15th place. His reward? A 5-second penalty.
Box, Nikita, box. Box, Nikita, box. And we have a 5-second penalty, 5-second penalty.
Fate was just not on his side, as he ultimately retired from the race, citing a power unit issue.
Losing power.
Stop the car, Maz. Stop the car. We're safe. Stop the car.
At this point, even the car had had enough. As you might imagine, things were threatening to boil over in the mess that was the Haas kitchen. But then came team principal Günther Steiner, holding discussions with both drivers before eventually claiming they had cleared the air after his particular escapade. Well, sort of. While rumours swirled that these two couldn't stand each other, Haas dismissed them, only for Schumacher to later drop hints that things weren't all sunshine and rainbows between them. Mazepin had an epiphany and owned up to his mistake, admitting fault in the Monza mayhem.
And obviously he needed to make the corner and turn in, so I'm sorry it happened. You know, it was my fault, but like a racing instant, you know, sometimes you put your nose there and the driver in front has to turn, but you've got half the car there, so yeah. In
Russia, his home turf, he was a solid 8 seconds off the pace, and that's not the kind of pace you'd be proud of unless you were racing in reverse. During the Grand Prix, he nearly made AlphaTauri driver Yuki Tsunoda a permanent part of his car, earning himself the unsportsmanlike conduct black and white flag. He ended that day a glorious P18, 2 laps down behind the leader and 1 lap behind everyone else. The Singapore and Japanese Grand Prix were cancelled, so we were unfortunately robbed of Mazepin's blinding speed on track, but he would return at the Turkish Grand Prix, and return in quite some fashion, finishing 20th place whilst 2 laps down. In his defense though, Mick didn't exactly fare much better, coming home in P19. At the US, Mexican and Qatar Grand Prix, he would continue his habit of finishing dead last out of the running cars, but at least he was surviving the races now. In fact, he would go one better at Interlagos, finishing above Mick in P17 and stealing the spotlight from Lewis Hamilton's incredible win. It seemed like he'd finally turned a new leaf. It seemed like he was finally showing some promise. It seemed like points were finally on the horizon. Yeah, no, he DNF'd at Jeddah and didn't make the Abu Dhabi GP because he had COVID. His season ended in the same spluttering fashion that it had started. Mick and Nikita were both struggling. He finished ahead of Schumacher only 3 times, and when it came to qualifications, let's just say he was practically in a different time zone, with an average deficit of over 9/10. That's a lifetime in Formula 1 terms. Midway through the season, there had even been drama when Mazepin claimed his chassis was a smidge heavier than Schumacher's. Daddy Mazepin decided to splash some cash, and voila, a new tub appeared. Did it magically turn Nikita into a speed demon? Not exactly. It helped a bit, but let's just say it was like putting a band-aid on a broken F1 car. So at the end of the season, the key statistics looked something like this. 0 points. Yes, 0. He had spun out 22 times in 21 races. He only managed to finish better than 17th once. And retirement? He had a collection of 5. He had collected all the Infinity Stones. Now, I have a very easy, very simple question for you. Where would 0 points put you at the end of the championship? 20th, right? Wrong. He finished 21st. Mazepin finished 21st in a 20-car championship. Because in 2 races that he'd driven for Alfa Romeo, Robert Kubica had managed to equal Nikita Mazepin's best race finish of the season. If that didn't sum up Nikita Mazepin as a whole, I don't know what does. And if you thought the embarrassment ended at the end of the season for Nikita, the story has a poetic ending yet, folks. Gene Haas, the man steering the Haas ship, and the F1 team boss Günther Steiner were at the circuit when they first got the news of Russia's invasion of Ukraine on the morning of February 24th. Ural Kali and Dmitry Mazepin had been great partners off track, but it was time to go. And on February 24th, after the testing had wrapped up for the day, a decision was made. Haas would cleanse their car of Ural Kali branding and the flashes resembling a Russian flag. 8 days after Mazepin's last laps on February 25th, the announcement came on March 5th. Haas was waving goodbye to both driver and title sponsor. He was gone forever. Things got a little murky in the aftermath though, with differing accounts from Mazepin and Steiner about what was communicated.
At first, the FIA, the highest governing body, has allowed me to compete as long as I'm a neutral athlete. But then, the team has cancelled my contract.
Steiner, on the other hand, denied saying any such thing. And then came the eventual announcement that Haas was replacing Mazepin with K-Mag, and let's just say, Haas was much better for it. But hey, someone had to give us the worst rookie season of all time. Sorry it had to be you, Nikita. And while you're at it, make sure to watch my video on how to beat Lewis Hamilton. Maybe Mazepin should have watched it.